everyone and welcome to this Teachitright Tuesday video. This is for the 4th of October 2022. Let's jump straight into it. So, important key messages just to make sure you're aware of. We are now going into assessment week. So for Teachitright, assessment week is always week 5. And some things you just need to be aware of. Obviously, during assessment week, we'll be going over the material you'll have covered in your first block. So please do make sure before you turn up the session that you have a look at weeks 1, weeks 2, and especially if there's any content that you found challenging, it's a good idea to spend a few minutes just looking over perhaps some of your notes you've written down in your jotter books, and maybe even a few of the question types just to re-familiarise yourself with the questions that you're going to be asked about. Also, parents, please do keep an eye out for the email that will be sent, which will inform you of the time and date for your meeting slot, and also with information on how you can book in. And that's booking in is usually done online, and you'll choose a 10-minute slot to talk with a tutor. Other important dates: half term is the 24th to the 28th of October. There will be no Teachitright lessons from the last weekend, which is the 29th and 30th. But that, of course, does mean that there will be lessons in the first weekend, and that's really important. Other things just to make sure you're aware of when it comes to those holiday periods. For example, homework, even though it will be a 2-week span of time between the lessons, please still only stick to doing the one homework. And the rule is, you only do the homework after you've had that lesson. So if your last lesson was the 4th lesson, then that would be the homework you would do. If your last lesson was the 5th, that would be the homework you do. So please, even though there's a couple of weeks over that period, still only stick to doing one homework. And finally, particularly important in week 5, where we're doing assessments, please make sure you're prompt when you arrive. And for us, we would say that's sort of arriving 5 minutes before, not too much earlier, because obviously the tutors are setting up, but certainly not later, because of course we would like to have the lesson starting promptly on the hour. Thank you so much. Moving on. Some new masterclasses are now available for you to look into, and in fact these are going to be becoming available to book this week. In fact, probably by the time you see this video, they may well be up on the website. So just to give you an idea, these masterclasses are one-off top-up classes. You can pick an entire range of them, so you could attend all of them. You could pick just a few, and actually, unlike our block structure, where you're tied in for 6 weeks, you may just choose to pick out certain areas. So within some of the mathematic blocks, for example, you just may want to pick out the algebra and ratio. And these are a fantastic way of topping up and targeting specific knowledge. Over the course of the year, we will be starting with creative writing, then offering some mathematics blocks, then non-verbal, then creative writing, and finally some more mathematic blocks. And I strongly recommend you look through these, target these based on things like your assessment results. And these are Zoom lessons that will just be 1 hour, and they're little booster shots where you can be with a tutor focusing on that one particular area. So especially useful if you know there are areas you struggle in, sort of help you develop. And of course, I believe it says here you can book entire sets if you want to, and I think you will get a discounted rate if you do that. But again, focusing on those key subjects area is really useful. Moving on, the creative writing course. Our lovely Josephine will be hosting this over the 24th, 25th and 26th of October. This is fantastic. Obviously, Josephine, really experienced head of English. She's worked in sort of private schools and I'd say as a head of English as well, so really, really exciting. The one thing that is unique about this camp, normally our camps are 3 days, and this one will be running for 3 days, but actually the material is unique from day to day. So in theory, you could just come for 1 or 2 days or a mix. And if that was something that interests you, I know there's a few holidays that take place over that period, simply phone the office, get in contact, and they can arrange that for you. But no, these camps are fantastic. They'll be focusing on all the things you need to know for creative writing, getting lots of valuable practice in, well worth looking at. Again, also worth mentioning, the Year 6 Independent Schools course. This is starting now, going live. The amazing Sharon will be hosting these, and these are going on from Camberley on Friday from 4:30 to 6:30, and in Windsor Saturday 2 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. And this is obviously for our Year 6 students. So if you are, or you do know anyone in Year 6 who is going through the process of mock interviews and go through the real interviews to enter independent schools, having that practice beforehand, and also covering the material that's different for a independent school entry, especially because it's not an exact overlap for 11+. These could be very, very useful. And again, if you have any questions, please do phone the office, because this product's no longer available on the website, but there are still spaces and certainly until Christmas time. Right, Year 6 online ISEB course. Again, this is independent school entry. We host this course on Zoom because, of course, the ISEB exam is also done online, and so it kind of fits that format. And these classes are held on a Saturday from 2 p.m. to 4:15. Really useful for making sure you go through the common pre-tests to understand how they're delivered, and Sarah will be going through those. Very experienced teachers, have lots of students go through, and these are really useful. So again, if you're doing the ISEB entry, well worth having a look at, well worth joining up for. Parent workshops to keep an eye out. So parent workshops, these are completely free. Parents, I strongly recommend you make the time and effort to go towards these, because the better you know the content, the more able you are to support your children, and the better the results. And we do know parents who are involved and take an effort and really understand the sort of both the question types and what to look out for, common misunderstandings, are going to be able to better support their children. And because these are free, I strongly recommend this one coming up on the 8th of October is for the CEM and Reading verbal reasoning. There will be a separate one, I believe, later on the 15th for the GL to also keep an eye out for. But certainly, CEM Reading boys, the verbal reasoning, well worth coming to, well worth making sure you're really happy. And again, that's available to book now online at teachitright.com under our products page. So please do have a look at that. Other things that are free and well worth coming to, the amazing Louise Swan doing our weekly Zoom call for the book club. Again, fantastic. I think we had like 20 students there this weekend, again, all talking about books, discovering new things to read. And again, I mention this all the time, but I can always tell from the assessment results which students are reading because their verbal reasoning results are just that much higher. It's the best sort of free revision you can have, and if you can learn to enjoy it, and obviously in a group setting it is much more enjoyable to talk about what you are, get recommendations, you just have that much of an easier time getting into reading, which is just so beneficial. Homework Support Club. So we obviously have our Monday Homework Support Club. However, we are also having a new offering here. So what we've done is we've decided, just because of the numbers, we've split out the GL assessment Year 5, which is staying on a Monday from 6:30 to 7:30, and we're now introducing a new, with a lovely Carly neighbour, CEM and Reading Year 5 Homework Club, and that's going to be from 4:30 to 5:30. Now, again, both of these will be an opportunity to go through questions, find out the page numbers, get advice with how to do the questions and sort of anything from the sort of that week's lessons. So well worth coming down to try out, but please be aware now, if you are a CEM or a Reading Year 5 student, instead of coming on the Monday, we would now ask you please to come on that Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30. And again, otherwise it should be really useful, but we'll just bring the numbers down slightly. If you're a GL Year 5 or a Year 4 student, same time, same place as last week, or in fact as last Monday. Other things to just make you guys aware of. This book, now we love giving this book out in the first block. The Synonyms and Answers book is fantastic by Christine Draper. It is chock full of fantastic words. Now, they are all 11 plus appropriate, however they are challenging. And so this is why we give it in the first block, because you need that time to begin working through. So we realise people, with homework they may struggle. This is often one of the ones students find harder to sort of get into, but really that's because you need to start that process of learning words. Now, one of the things that people often say, if a student doesn't know a word, what should we do? Do we just guess? Do we leave it blank? Well, no, the answer to that would be absolutely go and look it up. Look it up in a dictionary, look it up online, ask an older sibling, ask a parent. As long as it doesn't stop there, and what needs to happen next is some effort is made to learn the work. So that could be copying it into the word of meaning book, incorporating it into some quizzes and tests, the same way that you do sort of a spelling test, do a word meaning test. And you can treat these a page at a time, and really I recommend to all my students that you use this book over the course of the year, do a page a week, work your way through it, master the words in here, and you're going to have a really strong, really very large advantage of going into 11 plus exams, which is fantastic. So please guys, do keep hold of this book, even though it is coming in the block, and do keep working through it, because there's some fantastic vocabulary in here that you're going to find really useful. Moving on, I mentioned it was week 5, assessment week. Well, the exciting thing about assessment week is it's also goodie box week. So please make sure, students, that you bring in all the tokens you have. Don't leave it at home. We want you spending them. There are toys, games, chocolates, books, all sorts of stationery, sweets as well, which are often very popular. So please bring them down to spend those in the break, as it's really important that you are rewarded for your hard work. And it also gives us a chance to recirculate those tokens, to give them out again, which is really very exciting. So bring your tokens down and spend them, please. Other things just to finish on, important dates. So just to reiterate, assessment week will commence on the 8th of October. This is week 5, as always, assessment week. Louise's book club will be on the 9th of October, 2:45 to 3:30. Homework club every Monday, I now need to say it, every Monday and Tuesday evening, because of course we have the 2 classes. There's this parents workshop for the CM and the Reading boys on the 8th of October, and as a half term starts from the 24th to 28th, but our lessons will only be missed on the second weekend, the 29th and 30th of October. So please do make a note of this in your diary. Right, everyone, thank you so much for listening. See you all again.